Cardinals. Some of you are wondering, what is this 5 for 5 that's coming to Chancey's cafeteria? Well, what it is we are going to kick off next Monday a whole week of cafeteria behavior. Cafeteria behavior that's appropriate for a lunchroom. And so I want to talk to you a little bit today about what the 5 for 5 is. It's 5 behaviors that we're going to be watching. All the people who work in the cafeteria are going to be watching for 5 days. Each class is going to earn points, 1 point for each one of the 5 things that you are required to do in order to be a Chancey Cardinal in the cafeteria. Those are things like standing in line and waiting patiently. Those are things like staying seated and facing forward, eating your lunch and having a conversation with the person at your table, not at the table 5 tables away from you. No screaming, no running around the cafeteria. We are looking for 5 things. So I'll go over those 5 things with you, and then we'll talk again. Hi, Chancey Cardinals. I'm back, and this is what I was referring to when I was talking about the 5 for 5. We are going to be looking for 5 behaviors every single day while you're in the cafeteria. The first one is to stay seated and face forward. So you're not turning around in your chair, you're not talking to the person behind you. You are facing forward and having a conversation with the people at your table. The next one is clean up your mess. Oh my goodness, the things you leave behind when you leave the cafeteria. Papers and food and straws and forks and utensils, all kinds of things everywhere, on the floor, on the seats, on the table. So your class is responsible for cleaning up their mess every single day when we're doing the 5 for 5. Having a conversation voice, not screaming. You are not screaming in the cafeteria. The cafeteria is loud enough as it is, and we do not need to have your outdoor voice inside the cafeteria. Also, if you're facing forward and having a conversation with the people around you, then you're not screaming at the person who's in another class all the way at the other side of the cafeteria. So keeping that conversation voice will help you keep the screaming down. When you line up to enter the cafeteria to get your food, and when you line up and wait for your teacher to come get you, you need to stay in a single file line. You're not touching one another. You're not running around in circles playing chase. You are being safe Chancey Cardinals by standing in line, waiting your turn if you're in the cafeteria, or standing on the red line waiting for your teacher to pick you up. And finally, the last thing is table manners. This is a big one because sometimes table manners takes a little bit of practice. Table manners means I am not taking my milk carton or my water bottle or my Gatorade bottle and flipping it. We're not flipping bottles, flipping food, flipping items. We're not taking a bunch of straws from the cafeteria and linking them together to make one ginormous straw. We are using table manners. It's like if you're in a restaurant or at McDonald's. You wouldn't throw food at McDonald's. You wouldn't take straws and make long straws at McDonald's. You wouldn't take all of the ketchup packets and make a little house in front of you at McDonald's. So remember, table manners means that we are doing things that are appropriate for when we are eating. We're not saying things that are grossing out the guy next to us. We are making sure that we make good choices in the cafeteria. So the 5 for 5 this next week: 1, stay seated and face forward. 2, clean up your mess. 3, use a conversation voice, no screaming. 4, line up and stay in line. And 5, table manners. Those classes that earn the most point for their grade level at the end of the 5 for 5 week will get a special treat the week before spring break from the cafeteria staff. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week for our 5 for 5.